I said again, all right. Episode 1 of Unscripted is here, ladies and gentlemen. I can't tell you how excited, how pumped I am for me and the boys to kick off some sports. But hey, first thing I want to say is this. Elvin Hayes turned 75 today. For those of you who don't know, he played college in college football. He actually beat Lou Alcindor, and then he went on to play Houston and got beat. But Elvin Hayes has done a lot of great things in NBA. And we truly appreciate him and want to wish him a happy birthday. With that being said, and without further ado, I just want to say, don't forget to like, share, and comment. And I'm your boy, JJ McLovin. Yup.
What's going on, everybody?
All right. Gentlemen, well, first of all, if you like our content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And you'll see it in the banner below. And you also see the times for our shows and everything else in the banner below. And gentlemen, he'll say something to the peoples.
What's going on, everybody? As y'all know, it's me. It's the LOGAN, Logan Landers. I'm doing great, guys. Happy to get this show started. And I'm ready to talk some sports with y'all. Big Shaw, let the fans know what's up.
Oh, man, I'm ready to rock and roll, man. I'm ready to get to it.
Hey, listen, guys and gals, and everybody out there in podcast land, don't forget to check out our Facebook page, Unscripted. All right, so don't forget to go to our Facebook page, Unscripted. In case you miss any live shows, you can always go to our Facebook page and pick it up there, and you can catch anything you may have missed. Because we're always going to have some good stuff on there, good content. Big Shaw puts out a lot of good stuff. Logan puts out a lot of good material. So don't forget, if you miss an episode, don't worry about it, because you can always go to our Facebook page and pick it right back up. And with that being said, episode 1 is officially underway, and the first topic would be what, Mr. Logan?
Man, we're talking about one of the biggest news in the NBA at the moment. Will the Brooklyn Nets acquire James Harden?
No, that's a very good one. And let me ask you this, gentlemen. I'm gonna start this off. I want to ask each the same question, and specifically to this question, Logan, I want you to go first. Big Shaw, you'll go second. The question is this: we just saw Anthony Davis when he got traded to the Lakers. He went for 6 number 1 picks. That's right. I said again, 6 number 1 picks. Plus obviously Lonzo Ball and a few others. Okay. But the big Lonzo Ball is a big thing of itself. I think they got a good asset, him and a point guard. But the biggest thing was the future, that 6 number 1 picks. Okay, that's one. Number 2 is that Drew Holiday just got traded to Milwaukee Bucks for 3 number 1 picks. Plus, a few other players here and there. I think Bledsoe was one, and actually, I believe I got it right here. Actually, it was Ingram, Bledsoe, and Josh Hart, and 3 number 1 picks is what they gave up and received. So right now we're looking at New Orleans, who just got for 2 players 9 number 1 picks. Now let me ask you this, gentlemen: what is Harden going to be worth? Number 1. And don't forget, they're also talking about trading Westbrook as well. I think Knicks are interested in him, and I believe another team is interested. So my first question is, how many picks should Houston get or request to get to release Harden off of that contract? And 2, how many picks should they let go of Westbrook so they can stockpile those picks? And I give the floor to you, gentlemen.
Man, that's a tough one, because look, let's not forget that the Brooklyn Nets are still trying to recover all those draft picks they gave up to the Celtics all those years ago for Kevin Garnett and all those guys that were way past their prime, and everyone knew it was a bad trade back then. So they're still trying to recover. But, man, James Harden is one of the best players in this league. You got to give up everything you can for this dude. Now, look, if they end up getting Harden, then it's just going to be the 3 guys you see on that screen and a bunch of G League players, because they ain't going to have any cap space left. They're going to be giving up Jarrett Allen. They're going to give up Spencer Dinwiddie. All of their big-name players beside Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they're going to be getting rid of, or else I don't think Houston's going to be accepting that trade. So if you're Houston and you're wanting to get rid of James Harden, who it's been told and it's been rumors that Harden did not accept a $50 million player option, then that's pretty clear to me that he doesn't want to be in Houston anymore. And to be honest, it looks like that ship's about to sink, honestly. And I know, Jay McLovin, you're a little sad about that, being a diehard Houston sports fan.
Mm-hmm.
But look, man, that's just how it is. And we've seen that the Rockets, they've been right on the edge of glory. They just haven't been able to push it over the top. And it's looking like that this window's about to close quicker than I think we all thought. So if I am Houston, I'm trying to get as much as I can for Harden. I do think that they'll pretty much get rid of the entire Nets roster outside of the two guys there and maybe like a young star they have over there in Brooklyn, but they're going to get rid of a lot of their younger talent. Now, as for Westbrook, that's an interesting case because we've seen Westbrook. There's been interest in him from a lot of teams. There's rumors swirling around that they might trade him to Washington for John Wall.
Bradley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question. And let me ask you this. Since you said that, being that John Wall just came off a ruptured Achilles, how do you feel about that?
You know, that's always a scary thought, especially when it's a point guard, because we've seen with point guards over the years that sometimes a knee or a leg or ankle injury can derail their entire career. I mean, look at Derrick Rose. We all thought this guy was going to be the future of the league back in 2009, 2010, back when he was the youngest MVP to win the award. And after he got those injuries, he's been a good player, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't been the superstar we all thought he was going to be. Now, John Wall's been in the league a lot longer. He's been in the league for around 10 years, I believe. And he's shown that he is still one of the best point guards in this league. It's just that he's been on a Washington team that's been underperforming his entire career. They had a few good runs in the early 2010s, but other than that, they've just kind of been silent. And I think we all know that John Wall's trying to get onto a winner like a lot of these young point guards. And so I think this trade would work out for both of these guys because let's face it, Westbrook, he's getting more and more criticism with him each and every year, either for being overly aggressive or for being a bad shot taker. However, John Wall, there's always that risk of, can he come back? Will he be healthy? And can he contribute like he has been these past 10 years? And can he put up those numbers? And like you said, Big Shaw, like Bradley Beal, that's the real star of that Wizards team right now.
Oh, yeah. He's a bad man.
Once the Wall went down, we saw that Bradley Beal he can be a solid, I would say a 1B type of player. I need another really good, consistent year out of him. I do think he was the biggest all-star snub, like a lot of people thought this past season. But I do love Bradley Beal's style of play, and I do think that if you're Washington, you can't waste those guys for too much longer. You got to at least get rid of one of them, whether it be Wall or Beal, and get something out of those guys. So I do like this. If I had to see a trade happening more, I could see the Westbrook for Wall deal happening more than I could see the Harden deal, only because both of those guys are giving up equal aspects, I would say.
All right, Big Shaw, what do you think?
Well,
what should Houston give up for Harden, what should they receive for Harden, and what should they receive for Westbrook in order for those deals to be palatable and the Houston go walk away being a winner out of it?
Well, to be honest, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was all for James Harden going to the Brooklyn Nets. I was all for it until I stepped back and thought about it. I said, you know what? It's not gonna work because Harden going to Brooklyn it's not going to work because you think Durant want to sit there and watch Harden dribble the ball all day long?
Yeah, I agree.
He's not going to want to sit there and watch Kyrie Irving and Harden dribble the ball all day long. It's not going to work. Harden want to score his points. I'm telling you, he want to put up 35 to 40 points a game. Kyrie Irving, he want to do the same thing and dribble the ball all day. Man, that's not gonna work. I don't even know people so crazy for that. But hey, Bill for Westbrook, that might happen. It might happen.
I could,
you just never know. What happened in the NBA. You just never know. Westbrook is a good player. He's still good, and I like his aggressiveness. So I don't know how people would get mad over that. Him playing the ground. That's his game. But like I said, man. But back to the Durant and Harden, Kyrie Irving deal, man, I don't think that's going to work out in Brooklyn. I just don't think that'll work out. Now I did have a theory in my head. I said, well, Harden go to Milwaukee with Guinness, or if Houston want to turn it up a notch, hey, you tell them, hey, y'all want Harden, Give us either Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant. Straight up.
Right.
Now that would be a blockbuster.
You want to play hardball? Come on, we can play hardball.
And I get that, right? But the problem with that is that they're trying to build with those two. So you already know that that's going to be off the table. I don't think that they're going to give up Kyrie for Harden. I don't think they're going to give up Durant for Harden. I think they're trying to add to that piece. I think they're trying to look at everything else they got, like LeVert, Dinwiddie. I think they're trying to give up those guys. Now here's the deal. I'm gonna tell you right now. If you want Harden from me, and this is coming from me, I would ask specifically, and I know he wants to go to the Nets. And let me back up for a minute. Look, if Harden can coexist with Westbrook, I really do believe that Durant has been in the league long enough, and so has Kyrie Irving. Now, Kyrie Irving might be the stipulation because Kyrie Irving had a very hard time coexisting with LeBron James. Right. So I think he may even still have a hard time coexisting with Durant because he's going to want the ball. Durant's going to want the ball. So Harden going there necessarily, it's going to be so much that Steve Nash, as a first-year coach, is going to have to deal with. Now, here's the positive.
It's not going to work.
Here's the positive, though. Here's the positive. Mike D'Antoni is the backup coach over there. And he has a good relationship with Harden. And I think that he can make it work. I think he might be the one guy that could possibly meld these personalities. But truthfully, they're going to have to give up way more than just Dinwiddie and LeVert if that's what they do decide to give up, right? They're going to have to give up number one picks. Look, let me tell you something right now. You're talking about the MVP leader for the last 8 seasons, in terms of scoring. I mean, he hasn't won the MVP, but he's definitely been there quite. I understand, Freddie, he don't play defense. They're not bringing him there to play defense. They're giving him there to shoot the rock.
That's all.
Get to the hole.
Everybody knows James Harden don't play defense. He does not play defense.
Exactly. That's not what they're bringing in. But here's the deal. If Davis commands 6 picks, Drew Holiday commands 3 picks that are number ones. I'm going to tell you right now, there's no way that Houston should take anything less than 4 to 5 or even up to 6. I would say anywhere from 4 to 6 number one picks along with either Dinwiddie or LeVert. Absolutely, man. I think Harden commands that in the league. I think he's got a lot left in the tank. He's only 31. And if they don't, and I'm going to tell you that, even with Westbrook, I think Westbrook could command either 1 or 2 number one picks, or even at least 1 number one pick. I let Westbrook go if it's a high number one, right? So Wizards, I don't know where their number one pick falls into, but maybe they do let John Wall go. Yeah. And if they want to give up John Wall and a number one pick for Westbrook, I'd definitely take that trade. I'll take that.
But look, I don't think Durant is going to be that same player that he was a few years ago. That's done. That's going to be out the window. I guarantee you that. I'm telling you, an injury like that.
It is a serious injury. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, he's not going to be as flashy as he was.
He's not going to be as flashy, Big Shot, but I'm going to put this out there. I will say that Durant is one of the most kind of stone cold killers out there.
I don't like him.
You don't like him?
No, I've never been a fan of Durant.
All Durant needs is Kyrie Irving or James Harden. If they did pick up James Harden, you get Kyrie Irving and James Harden. Just watch this, catch and shoot, baby.
That's all he needs.
It's not going to work.
I think it would work. The problem is can Kyrie? Let me tell you something right now. The problem is not with Harden and Durant. The problem is going to be with Kyrie. Because Kyrie has a very hard time. He had a hard time coexisting with Jason Tatum in Boston. He had a hard time coexisting with James in the Cleveland days. And he's going to have a hard time coexisting with Durant. Now, let me tell you something. If you took Kyrie out of the picture and it was just Harden and Durant, those two could combine. They're no problem at all. I guarantee they could do. But Kyrie,
that would be amazing.
That's where the piece. That's going to be that controversial piece that just is not able to work.
It ain't going to work.
Yeah. Like I said, we'll see if this trade does pan out. If it does, it's going to be real interesting who they're going to want to have that last shot being taken by.
Oh, man. James Harden. He's going to take it. I promise.
Hey, we'll see who gets the ball at that time. We'll have to see, bro.
James Harden.
Topic number 2, my brother.
Let's get on to it. Well, the
Arizona Cardinals contenders.
Whew.
And I'm hey, based off of what we just saw with the Buffalo Bills, we're gonna go in the same order. It's we're gonna go with Logan first and then Big Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
With the Arizona Cardinals and what Hopkins did and what Kyler Murray is doing and so forth, man, where do I had these guys, if they continue the way they're going, I got them trending up that ladder slowly but surely. They may be the one bright spot in that NFC East that could be that Cinderella child, but I'm going to turn it over to Logan. What you got, baby?
Look, they're playing in one of the hardest divisions in football right now in the NFC West. There's 3 teams tied at the top of that leaderboard. You got the Cardinals at 6-3. You got the Rams at 6-3. And you also have the Seahawks at 6-3 with the 49ers at 4-6, who still have a chance to come back, but it's looking less and less likely. As for the Cardinals, we saw what they did this past week with that amazing Hail Mary play to win against the Bills, which is a very formidable team, and who's looking like they're going to win their division as well. They're going to be fighting with the Dolphins. But for the Cardinals, coming into the season, I wasn't expecting them doing this well, honestly. I knew that to me, the thing was I wanted to see if Kyler Murray could duplicate what he did his rookie year. And so far, he's shown that. He's shown that he's worth all the hype right now and that he is improving his game. So I couldn't say that I was a little bit wrong on him coming into this season. And for being such a young guy, he's only 23. And for him to be doing what he's doing right now, he's thrown for over 2,000 yards already. He's thrown for 17 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, which is a little bit kind of iffy, but he's got a great team behind him. He's got DeAndre Hopkins, like we just talked about, we'll talk about him a little bit later on with that trade. And then he's also got some great defensive pieces as well to help him out. So I do think the Cardinals are trending on upward to be a playoff contender. And if they don't win their division, I definitely do see them getting a wild card spot. How about you, Big Shaw?
Yeah, Seattle. Yeah, they're going to get the wild card. Seattle going to win that division. I'm going to tell you right now. But Arizona, they're going to the playoffs. But, Kyler Murray, I've been following him since Oklahoma. And I never doubted him. But I think they're going to go to the playoffs. They're going to lose the first round, of course. But, he's young. He still got a little bit of time left in the tank. But I do have him as a MVP candidate in my eyes because he's been playing pretty good. The interceptions, he could work on that a little bit, but sometimes he just can't help it. But he just got to work on it. The defense is pretty good. But, man, Hopkins, man, that guy is great, man. That guy is great. But he's not my number 1 wide receiver, though. Julio Jones. Julio Jones.
No, hey, to wrap this up before we go on to topic number 3, like I was saying, I really believe, and I had no ill will against the Cardinals, man. They play, Emmitt Smith went to play for those guys, and I wish them nothing but the best. I mean, the Cardinals to me are that team that, like, nobody really loves them or hates them. They're just kind of that bland vanilla right down the middle, flies under the radar, and then pops up every once in a blue moon. And I'm telling you right now, they're popping up at the right time. And I'm telling you right now, these dudes are legit. And I think Kyler Murray is probably I got Kyler Murray in the top 3. I got Russell Westbrook sliding down a little bit.
You mean Wilson?
I'm still thinking. God, I'm still in Houston right now. Hey, my bad. There's too many Russells in my life. No, yeah, Russell Wilson. I'm sorry, Russell Wilson. Yeah, definitely. I see him sliding down a little bit. I see Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers kind of sliding down just a little bit. And I see. Yeah, I do, man. You'll see.
Hey,
I know
what about
Freddie's out there probably saying, man, hey, no, they ain't, because he's a bad man. No, he's not that bad.
My question is, where do you see Mahomes in that MVP race, though? He's been solid.
No. I got Mahomes up there. Believe me. Like watch this, Lamar Jackson. I see him sliding way down after that last game.
Why would you put Lamar Jackson?
I still got obviously Mahomes, Kyler Murray, and these are in no specific order. I'm just giving you my top 5.
Okay,
Kyler Murray, I got Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers still my top 5, and so Kyler Murray, Rodgers, Mahomes.
Yep.
Ben Roethlisberger is still kind of in mind. I mean,
we'll have to see.
And then of course, I still got Josh Allen, man. I think Josh Allen is doing a hell of a job right now out there with Buffalo Bills. But I can't say that I wouldn't. Russell Wilson's still in there, man. I can't discount Russ. It's such a hard thing because I'm so sad. I'm so upset right now with Russell Wilson when that last game he played. He's just been throwing so many picks, man. And I don't. I don't know, man. I regress.
What is the MVP? What is the MVP for? What is that? What is that award for? Is it for stats? What?
Hey, I like Mr. Lombardi. He's like, we got some bad mothers right here.
Russell Wilson. Hold on. Listen. Now, I got Russell Wilson. Actually, it's his MVP to lose. If he keep playing the way he's playing, he's gonna lose it.
Right. He can right the ship though. He still got time. There's still a few weeks left in this season.
He got time, but show us something.
Right. But going back to the Cardinals though, they are getting hot right now. They got a lot of momentum. Now, are they peaking too early though? We'll have to see.
Yeah, they
still got a lot of time left until they get to the playoffs, so we'll have to see.
Right. But what's their record? The Cardinals?
They're 6-3 along with the Rams and the Seahawks. They're all tied for first place in the NFC West.
Oh man,
three-way tie. It's going to be a good race.
That NFC West is amazing.
It
and
is.
I'm sorry right now, man. NFC. I'm sorry. I'm still AFC. AFC still right now. In my opinion, the AFC still has a Super Bowl, but it's still early. We got a lot of time left to play, and people can still heat up at the right times. And so we'll see. The NFC's not out of it, but I still got the AFC right now, just being that stronghold. On to the next slide. Let's go to the next. What else we got out here to talk about? The DeAndre Hopkins trade.
I'm going first. I gotta go first.
Right. Hey, let him go. Let Big Sean go first on this one.
Yeah,
what you got, buddy?
Big Sean, go ahead. What you got, man?
Houston was really dumb. It was really dumb. The GM, matter of fact, the owner, he didn't want to let it happen. So, that was really dumb. Then for a running back, he's not even a top two running back. He's trash. And you give up one of the best wide receivers in the NFL for trash? That's a slap in the face. They both should have been fired. I don't know if you can fire the owner, but man, they should have fired both of them, the GM and the owner. That was stupid. That was really stupid. It's just some things, man, is very stupid. And that was stupid. That's like Skip Bayless. I think he said it today. He said, I don't want to get off subject, but this man said the Phoenix Suns will beat the Lakers in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you know what I done when I heard him say that?
What'd you do?
Man,
turn the channel.
Man, I was enraged when he said that. I said, that's just stupid. That's when I thought about the trading Hopkins. That was retarded.
Well, hey, like my friend Joe Stevens said, if I could fire Bobo twice, I'd fire Bobo twice.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
What you got, Logan?
Look, like Big Shaw said, man, I think everyone was in agreement when this trade happened that the Texans got absolutely fleeced. They gave up one of the best wide receivers, if not the best wide receiver in this league.
Number two.
For a half-eaten bag of Lay's potato chips, basically, in David Johnson, who's on the bad side of 30, and they didn't even get a first-round pick for him.
Yeah.
They got I'm looking here, they got a 2020 second-round pick and a 2021 fourth-round draft pick for one of the top wide receivers. You couldn't even get a first-round pick? No, look, I get that wide receivers are expendable. There's always going to be new guys coming in each year that have proven their worth. But right now, and especially after what we just saw this past week with that catch he made, boy, this is looking even worse and worse every single day. So my final thoughts on this topic, man, if I'm Bill O'Brien who's sitting at home right now, you got to be scratching your head thinking, I don't know why I did that. And that was, to me, once he did that, they should have fired him on the spot. But they finally figured it out. They fired him a couple weeks ago, and hopefully, if you're a Houston Texans fan, I feel sorry for you guys so much right now. My heart goes out to you all.
Hey, listen, you can't tell, but I am a Houston fan. Now, listen, I'm a Houston fan when it comes to baseball, basketball. Not that I'm not a Houston Texas fan, but I've been a Cowboys fan since 1976. My dad was always upset with me about it. He felt like I should have been an Oilers fan, this, that, and the other. But it is what it is. For some reason, I think it's the star on the helmet. I just gravitated towards it. But with that being said, I do want to comment a little bit about the Houston Texans. How in the hell you're not going to pay that man his money?
No, he deserves every penny.
Come on, man. How do you not build a team if you don't pay the right people, the money? And when they traded Hopkins away, that team has not been the same since. No. Fuller, not a bad guy. Don't get me wrong, but he is not a guy to carry the team like Hopkins was doing.
Fuller's good, but he's not DeAndre Hopkins.
Exactly. And now you see what he's doing with Arizona, making these incredible catches. Yeah. And look how much better. Look how much better instantly that Kyler Murray got, the Arizona Cardinals got, just by simply making that one acquisition. And then look at the Texans and how much worse they got making that one deletion. Yep. And they didn't, like you said, they didn't get nothing with a fourth rounder. Man, nobody cared about a damn fourth rounder.
No.
And David Johnson, hell, he's hurt. Duke Johnson's playing right now. We got Big Duke.
Well, my thing is, if I'm the Texans right now, I think it's time to just blow it all up. Get J.J. Watt out of there. You can still get a little bit of something out of him.
He want to go.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't blame him.
He said it.
Deshaun Watson, I like his style, but he's hurt right now, isn't he? Or he's just kind of off in nowhere land.
He's gonna be trash.
No, he's still there, but you just don't hear
he's
much
just kind of lost
because there's nothing for him to really throw to make a splash.
Exactly. It's a mess over there in Houston, man. But we'll have to see. But so far the Cardinals are winning this one by a mile.
That Bobo effect is got about two things. Number one, Bill O'Brien's effect on this team is going to be felt for a hot minute. It's going to be felt for a hot minute. It's going to have a little bit of lingering effects. Number two, if Bob McNair was still alive today, he would be rolling over in his grave to know that the team that he started is where they are now.
He's rolling over right now.
Yep.
He's absolutely, unequivocally rolling over because this was not the strategy he had when he bought that, or when he, came in and said, "Okay, Houston, I know you lost the order. I'm going to give you the Texans or whatever. We're going to have this big splash. We're going to do all this stuff. We're going to be calculated. We're going to be this. We're going to be that. Everything's going to be great." Really?
No.
Trash.
Mr. Bob, I'm sorry you're no longer with us, but it hasn't been that great. And I regress. Time to move on to the next topic. This topic is depressing me.
All right, let's move on, man. Let's talk about the big trade.
So who do you think got the better deal, OKC or Phoenix? And right now, I'm still Phoenix got a good deal. Not that they didn't get a bad deal, but I think that OKC is going to walk away with a better first round pick. I think that's what they need. They need to because they're in rebuild mode. Everybody knows they're in rebuild mode. And if you're in rebuild mode, what do you need? You need picks, or if you're going to rebuild their free agent market, you should have something to give. So either way, picks are what they need to stockpile. So the fact that and I still think Ricky Rubio is a really good player. Mm-hmm. And I think between that and that first round pick, I think that's an amazing deal. So I think, honestly, they both got exactly what they wanted out of it. So I think it's a 50-50 tie. But anyway, Logan, what you got?
Man, look, this is kind of tough because we saw how Phoenix played when the bubble restarted. They were one game away from getting into the playoffs. So they proved to me specifically that they do have a lot of talent over there beside Devin Booker.
Right.
But now they have something that they didn't have going into this season. They have a veteran now, and they don't have just any kind of veteran. They have one of the best point guards in the last 20 years in Chris Paul. Now, look, I get what OKC's doing, and this is a smart trade because they got Chris Paul for a bunch of draft picks. And now I'm looking at all this here, and they have in 2020, OKC's got two first-round draft picks. 2021, they got 3 first rounders. 2022, 3 first rounders. 23, 3 first rounders. 24, 3 first rounders. And 26, 3 first round picks. So while yes, it is great to stockpile all those draft picks, I don't know, I probably listed at least 10 or 10 plus there. They can use that as trade bait.
Yeah.
Because you can get a high profile player. I don't know who off the top of my head, but you can get someone good for 2 of those, for 3 of those even. It depends on who you're trying to get. So if you're OKC and you're in a rebuild mode right now, it's not going to be a painful one like we've seen in previous years, like the 76ers when we were doing the process, like the Phoenix Suns have been doing for years on end now. So at the moment, I think that Phoenix got the better end of the deal by getting Chris Paul, which will get them into the playoffs for what seems like the first time in 30 years, the way it's been going on. But in the long term, I could see OKC getting the better end of this deal. Big Shaw?
Yeah, I think Oklahoma got the better part of the deal. I said that when I seen it, came out. But, Chris Paul, I really thought in my mind, I said, I'd love to see Chris Paul go to the Lakers because he's almost out of here anyway. I'd love to see Chris Paul go to the Lakers, but it didn't happen. The guy like he's almost out, he's almost done, and he's one of the greatest point guards in the NBA. He's gonna go down like Charles Barkley, him and Carmelo Anthony.
Ringless.
Like Charles Barkley. Great players, but no ring. No ring. And I think Chris Paul, I think they might make the playoffs. I don't know. But
the West is tough. The West is tough.
They're gonna wear Chris Paul out, But it was a good trade. Oklahoma got the best deal out of it.
It's a good trade for both teams, I'll say that.
So let me ask you this. Now Logan, you made a good point that Oklahoma's got 10 picks.
I'm sure they got more than that. Jeez.
No, they got more.
Let's go with that. Just that number for a brief moment to prove this point.
Let's do it.
Now, Giannis right now is wondering, okay, yeah, I see that Milwaukee is trying to add some pieces. I see they're trying to, get this team where I want it to be, to where I can be competitive, whatever. But I wonder if Milwaukee and the fact that the Thunder have that many picks, and we know Anthony Davis required 6 number ones, could they just make that same offer, 6 or 7 number ones for Giannis, and bring Giannis into OKC and use that as the building block?
Man, that's a tough choice because that's a lot of draft picks you are giving up for Giannis to. He's on. I think he only has a year or 2 left on this current deal.
Well, obviously, you'd want to get a deal probably put in place,
right.
But if you could put the what I'm saying, if you could get the deal put in place there, and then, over the however many years you want to do it, and you're not going to give him the draft picks,
right?
Without securing the contract or without securing the extension, right?
Yeah,
right.
But you're not talking about the same guy that played good in the regular season, and when he got to the playoffs and stuff, he disappeared. That guy.
Ooh. I will say that
everybody else named Giannis Akindipo or whatever you say his last name.
And he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere.
If Giannis can get a jump shot, I will say this: if Giannis can ever develop a jump shot, he'll be lethal.
He will, but
he don't have one right now. He's still very young. I think he's 27, 28.
Yeah, he's not that old. He's only young. I think I want to say like 24, 25.
He's 20. Sorry, he's 25. Just he's been in the league since he was, I think, 18 or 19. That's why I think he's older. So
he's been playing for a hot minute.
Man, he got Drew Holiday with him, man. Drew Holiday ain't no joke, man. He can ball.
We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but that trade just happened the other night. But to go back to your point, Jay, if Giannis was to get, like, I'm just going to throw this out there, like a 5-year deal or something like that, and then if OKC, who stockpiled all those 45 draft picks in the first round, I mean, if I'm the opposing GM, who would say no to that?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. But, obviously, due to, like you said earlier, due to Oklahoma City, they're going to have to secure that extension or whatever before they make that trade, so they know that he's going to be there for a hot minute.
Exactly.
I guess we'll see what happens. I do see him staying with Milwaukee. I don't see Giannis leaving Milwaukee. I think they are going to get that extension done, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think he will get an extension. However, it's the real question for me is that will he stay past that next extension? That's the real question.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because if they ain't won nothing, then he could leave. So time will tell. Time will tell, gentlemen.
He can always go to Miami.
Very true. He can go to a lot of teams. All the 30 teams want him right now.
He can go to the Lakers too.
Hey, they got his brother who's a champion. So I mean, they got one Antetokounmpo who is a champ. So maybe we can get the other one on there. So we'll have to see. But Jay, what we got up next, buddy?
Yeah, here we go. The first thing I want to well, you know what? Let's say on the NBA side, since we're already NBA side. So we got what should Houston ask for James Harden? So I guess we kind of already covered this previously. I still think me personally, I think Houston's got to take. They're going to have to get at least 4 or 5 number 1 picks for him, just like what Anthony Davis got 6 and Holiday got 3. I'm pretty sure I'd put Harden right up there with Anthony Davis, even though he may. And if you want to take his age into consideration, maybe you put him around the 4 to 5 pick range, which definitely requires more than what Drew Holiday did. So I think if Houston walks away and does not get at least 4 or 5 number 1 picks for Harden, then that's going to be an issue. What do you think, Logan?
Yeah, it is going to be an issue. They got to give up a stockpile to get James Harden. And like I got in that graphic there, they're going to be giving up a lot of their young players. I see Taurean Prince. I see Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie, who's their whole bench. So you're going to be getting just if they're going to have a good bench, they're going to have to sign guys like veterans to like a league minimum to fill out their roster, or just get some unproven guys either from the G League or get them from cheap and free agency. And that's who you're going to fill out your bench, because you're not going to have any cap space left if you get James Harden, along with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. So like you said, I do think they're going to have to give up a bunch of draft picks. I pulled up here that they do have their own draft picks left for until 2026, which is good because, man, for the longest, they did not have any first-round draft picks, and that really kind of had them in trouble. But now that they finally got that back, they're going to be back on track, and they have 2 of the best players in the world right now with Kyrie and with KD, who's coming off that injury. We'll have to see how he's going to prove himself. Big Shaw, I know you say you don't think he's going to be able to come back and be 100%, but time will tell.
And back to that question, Houston is. I'm telling you, got to drop it and play hardball. You tell the Brooklyn Nets, you give me one of them 2 for Harden, straight up.
Well, hey, if you don't mind, I want to touch on that KD situation. How KD is what, in his mid-30s, right? Harden about 30, 31, 32?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Durant right now, he's 32.
Okay, so he's 32. Now, here's the deal, fellas. I don't know a lot about NBA in terms of like playing the game, right? I've never played the NBA, so I don't know what the total in the body actually feels like and things of that nature. But I tell you what, whenever I have a hard time understanding, or if I want to try to figure out what it's like in the NBA, I always go back to my boy, Joe Stevens. The man played for the Houston Rockets, played for the Grizzlies, and he played for the Utah Jazz. And the one thing he always told me was, and I've done a couple of interviews with him, and he's always said the same thing: Jay, a man only has so many jumps before his career is done, and you don't know when that last jump is. But I know this: when a man is 32 and he just tore his Achilles,
he
goes in my mind is. Well, I should say there's 3 things that go through my mind. The first thing that goes through my mind is, okay, he's 32. He just tore the most jacked up part of the body for a basketball player you can jack up, which is the Achilles. Right? So how many more jumps? My first question is, how many more jumps does KD have left in that body of his?
2.
That's number 1. Number 2 is, if he does have some jumps left in him, what will be his role going forward? Because he's not going to be that same jumper, slash, or whatever. He's going to be, I guarantee you, he's going to be a catch and shoot type individual. He's going to be. I'm just telling you, he's not going to be. Because if he tries to do anything else other than that, he will tear that Achilles again. I promise you. I promise he's going to have another injury. So if he was going to have any sort of longevity left in the NBA, it's going to have to be from a catch and shoot standpoint. And I debate anybody on that. Because I'm telling you, at his age and that injury, and you don't know how many more jumps he has left in his body. I'm telling you. And the next time he does what he did, it could be his very last jump.
Man, you bring up a good point. And for me, the thing with KD that makes him kind of an enigma in my eyes is that we've seen guys have these, career-ending injuries with their Achilles or anything with their legs. That's always something scary you like to look at. I mean, look at Klay Thompson. He's got a leg injury as well he's coming off of. We don't know how he's going to be. That's the topic for another show. But the thing with Kevin Durant, I do like your point. He's not going to be slashing to the hoop as much now with that injury, I don't believe. And with especially being with his first year with Kyrie, who's a predominant ball handler, Kevin Durant's not going to be able to hold on to the ball as much, and he's not going to be able to dribble as much as he's used to. But here's two things that I think that he's going to be utilizing a lot more going forward. Like you said, I think he'll be doing more of a catch-and-shoot type of deal. Also, we've seen that he's lethal if he just gets one or two dribbles and he can do a nice pull-up shot. But for me, something that's kind of underutilized in the NBA in general that I think that KD really excels at is his post-game. Because this dude is a 7-foot-tall small forward who's shown that he is lethal from mid-range and from three-point. So going into this season, he can start taking more of those in mid-range to up-close shots, and he can get buckets. We've seen this guy. He's a former scoring champ. And while, I know his legs aren't going to be as healthy as they have been, he's still going to get buckets no matter what. Big Shaw, what you got?
Oh, man. Durant ain't going to be the same guy. We know that. But I guarantee you he's going to drive to that bucket. I promise you. And then
that's a question real quick, Big Shaw, or even Logan. I just kind of more. I know you have brought it up, and I just want to kind of touch on that just for a second. Now, let me ask you this: who was the guy that played with? He played with the Lakers, Big Shaw. I think towards the end, he was supposed to be really good, and then he had like the Achilles injury. He first played. He was with he was with Sacramento, and then he went to Golden State, and then he went to LA Lakers.
Oh, you mean Cousins?
Yeah. Man, my mind was drawing a blank, but I knew but I could see his face. So look at Cousins. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Cousins wasn't that his injury? Is it Achilles?
Yeah,
I believe so. Yep.
Okay, and how old is Cousins?
He's a little bit, I think, younger.
Yeah, he's younger than Durant.
Yeah, mid to late 20s.
I would say late 20s. Let me pull it up real quick. He just turned 30 in August. So
okay,
but
so
he hasn't played. He hasn't played in like 2 years, basically. Though you gotta remember that.
So this is what I'm trying to say to you. Now, listen, I understand. We can all say this guy's a specimen, this guy's a specimen. But let me tell you something. God created your ligaments just like he created my ligaments. And I'm just trying to I'm not saying that, for any reason that Durant is done. But I am gonna kind of compare him a little bit to Cousins. Cousins is 30. Where's he at?
He just signed a veteran minimum. That's all he's at, man.
Exactly. That's my point. He just signed a veteran minimum, and he's probably right a bench somewhere. And I'm telling you, do not be surprised if KD, who is 2 years older than him, doesn't come back and be the same player he was once before. I'm telling you, listen, KD is on a discount right now. Honestly. He's on a discount, and you don't know how well he's going to come back. And even if he does come back, you don't know how long he's going to stay before he gets another injury, just like Cousins, who came back, got another injury, and then was gone for a hot minute.
Right. And he still came back from that injury. He still hadn't proven himself.
Exactly.
We're still waiting on Cousins to get back and be healthy. And he was on the court for a few games, I believe, in 2019, but then he got hurt again or something like that. So we're still waiting for him to get back to his 100% healthy self, and who knows if we'll ever see that.
No, I absolutely agree. I absolutely 100% agree with you. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to put salt on KD's career. I don't want to get it twisted. But I do want to keep a fresh perspective as to, what can we actually expect from him? And nobody's going to know that until he steps on the court and he actually starts going through the motions, and then we really see what you have in Kevin Durant. So I really see a lot of, question marks coming into this season, and it's going to be interesting. I mean, the whole NBA is going to be interesting, honestly.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to this year, and it's getting an early start, too. It's starting in just over I think it's starting in December, right before Christmas. So we're getting that short turnaround, and for one of the leagues that's always consistent, whether it's either during the season or in the off season where we see rumors flying around like hotcakes, NBA is on fire, and it's been like that for the past couple of years now, and it ain't gonna be put out anytime soon. But I'm ready to watch some basketball again. I can tell you all that. But what we got coming up next, buddy?
Hey, Logan.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Bears. The Bears. Let's talk about the Bears and Mr. Nick Foles going by the wayside. That's what we got up next. I'm going to get my 2 cents on this in a minute. I'm going to turn, I'm going to go in reverse order. Big Shaw, what do you think about the Bears given the recent injury to Nick Foles and possibly Mitchell Trubisky coming in for him? And if he doesn't come in, then they got some third wing guy. Is their season over? Where are we going, Big Shaw?
Man, the Bears is done. You put Trubisky back in there. He's garbage anyway. So I mean, yeah, they should know it. But what was their record when the season started? Was they what 5-1?
Well, they started out undefeated
right.
5-0, and then
they're 5-5 at the moment. They're 500.
Yeah, so they belong in the trash pile with the rest of the NFC East. That's where they belong. The Bears, you was undefeated, and all of a sudden you just started losing. So you take out Mitch Trubisky, that bomb, and you put this trash in the game. Like he was going to do something spectacular. Yeah, I know he wanted to do well with the Eagles, but let's not forget how the Eagles got there. Carson Wentz got them there. He just finished the job. Let's not forget. But Foles is trash. I've been telling everybody that for years. He's trash, and now he's hurt, and now you got some more trash coming in. So yeah, they're done. They're done.
Yeah,
what you got, baby?
It ain't looking hot down in Chicago. It is rough down there, man. Look, we saw that Nick Foles had that hip injury, and they're saying that he could possibly play in the next week or so, which, I mean, I don't personally think he should with a hip injury, and they're wanting him to be the starting quarterback. And as much money as they're paying him, I still can't believe they didn't have him starting this season. Now, let's look at some of the numbers here, man. They played the Vikings, who are now 4-5, and let's be honest, the Vikings, they're kind of hit and miss right now. They don't have they're lacking in a few departments, and a lot of people thought the Bears were going to win this game, and it was rough. I don't know if you guys watched this game, but it was absolutely just not a picture perfect NFL game like you like to see, and the Bears just looked out of it once that injury happened. I think I saw they had 13 yards in the third quarter or something insane like that?
Yeah, it was bad. It wasn't good.
Like -3 rushing yards, something. The Bears, they need, I don't know what they need. They need a lottery ticket. They need a little bit of luck. They need to get that boy Rudy on the team or somebody. They need somebody to help turn that team around because it ain't looking good with Nick Foles, and it's really not looking good with Mitchell Trubisky at all. So if you're the Bears,
Logan, this is the question I got for the both of you. Think about this for a minute. If he's out for what looks to be quite a few games, and they bring in Trubisky or whoever it is they got lined up after that, shouldn't be much. Is it okay? We already know Green Bay is going to snag the division. Ain't nobody going to beat Green Bay in that division. They snagged it.
Yep.
The question is, who can get the wild card possibly out of that position? Do you think it can be anywhere near possible that Minnesota could slide up and grab it?
Big Sean, I'm gonna let you get this one first, bro.
I think Minnesota can reach up and snag it. If they can keep winning, I think they can. Maybe can Detroit maybe snatch it?
We'll have to see.
Hey, can Detroit just surprise everybody and snatch it?
Right, and that's my point. So I would be honest with you. If Mitch Trubisky comes in, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, he can go either way. If anybody else outside of Mitch Trubisky comes in, I just see the Bears basically going downhill, and somebody else is going to come up and snag it from them. And it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. But, hey, Nick Foles, I hope you get better, buddy. And, hey, we're all thinking about you and keep you in the prayers, man. But your time is done here today, and we'll see what happens going forward with your team.
Hey, I got to say this,
sir.
Hold on, let me say this real quick about the wild card, bro. So it's going to be tough because let's be honest, that NFC West is going to have at least 3 of those spots locked up.
Right.
And with 7 teams getting in on each side this year, it's looking like everyone else is going to be on the bubble. The Bears right now, they still have a shot at getting in. Mm-hmm. So do the Vikings, the Lions, the 49ers even. And surprisingly, I will say, do what?
I said, yeah, that's true. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
So 49ers, absolutely.
But see, I just don't see any of those guys beating any of those teams in the NFC West to get in that playoff spot. If anybody, I would put money on the Vikings over any of the teams I just listed. So we'll have to see. But yeah, I just don't see the Bears. They're going to keep going down for my liking, and that's how I'm going to say with that.
Hey, did they correct me if I'm wrong? But in the playoffs, did they not? They've extended it so many new wildcard positions, didn't they? Or they did not do that?
I believe they did because they're having 7 teams get in on each side now, which is more than I don't remember how many they used to have, but I don't think they've had 7 on each side before, so that's new.
Right. So it should be 4 divisional, so they should have 3 wild card spots available in each division or each conference, right?
Right, I believe so.
Okay. Man, it'll be interesting to see who does it. I don't it's gonna be really hard for the NFC North. In terms of, what they've done to get that wild card spot. Like you said, pretty much give it all the other – because you got Tampa that's in the hunt and a few others, and those. So, yeah, I think it's going to be hard for them. But I'm going to root from – I know Brandon Herrera, that was his team now with Minnesota. So I know he's probably trying to root for that. I don't know. We'll see, man. My heart goes out to Mr. Foles, but we'll see where they go from there. Hey, let's talk real quick. We got a couple of things I want to talk – or one more thing I want to talk about – before we get out of here, let's talk about some college real fast.
Okay, what you got?
Now, and as me and you were talking about pregame show, we were talking about a lot of people expected LaMelo Ball to go number 1. People expected maybe Edwards to go number 1. I know Melo had 2 workouts. One was with Minnesota, I believe. The other was with the Pistons. ESPN mock draft right now has Edwards going number 1, Wiseman going number 2, Ball going number 3 to the Hornets, the Bulls going with Avdija. I can't say that guy's name right. It's overseas. I want to say it's Avdija, and then the Cavs are going to go out at number 5 or 6, whatever it is, with Obi Toppin. So right now, ESPN is not having Ball going number 1. They got Ball going number 3. You know what, Big Sean? Let's go with you first, man. Where do you see – so I gave you the ESPN mock draft, what they say is going to happen. Where do you see it playing out?
Lorenzo Ball? Well, like I said, I don't watch the NBA as much. I watch, college basketball more. But I do have my eyes on the NBA sometimes. I think he's going to get drafted first. I think he will. He's going to go to Minnesota, and Wiseman's going to go to Golden State. So that's what's going to happen.
All right, I'll come back to you on that one. So we're going to put a pause on that one real quick. We're going to come back to that. Logan, what you got, baby?
I like this. I think the way that ESPN laid it out is I think that's how it's going to go. I do think Edwards is going to go number 1 to the Minnesota Timberwolves because they don't need a point guard. They don't need LaMelo Ball. They have D'Angelo Russell, like we were talking about before the show went on air. They don't need their point guard. And they don't need a big either with James Wiseman. They got Cat. So I think that Edwards would be the perfect slot for Minnesota. Now, if you're Golden State, how they fell to the number 2 overall pick, and they have one of the most loaded rosters right now with Steph Curry, with Klay Thompson when he comes back, and also Andrew Wiggins, who has a lot to prove. They might get James Wiseman, or they might trade him for who knows what. Because they have, to me, Golden State is the most interesting team in this draft because, yeah, they can get Wiseman, but they could also pick someone else and trade him for another superstar. So that'll be interesting as well. But I do think that the number 3 pick, who's with Charlotte, you said, I think that would be a perfect fit for LaMelo, only because Charlotte's down in the dumps right now. They ain't got nobody. They got Terry Rozier and Nicholas Batum or something. So that's – to me, that's the real number 1 overall worst team right now in terms of players is Charlotte. So, yeah, he'd be a perfect fit for the Hornets system. And honestly, whenever the mock drafts first came out, they all had LaMelo going number 1 and everything. But I'm like, well, hold on now. Let's just pause. Let's just take a step back. And let's look at all the other guys. We see what Anthony Edwards could do at UGA with Georgia. And we've seen before James Wiseman had that restriction laid down on him at Memphis, how dominant he was. Mm-hmm. So they both got a lot to prove. But in terms of potential, I think LaMelo's got the highest ceiling in this draft.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Now, I did see on ESPN where I believe it was a GM for the Wolves came out and they asked him all these questions, pretty much the same questions we're talking about. And he basically said he was going to take, wherever he felt the need was within the organization in terms of players. I think he was saying about he said he's going to weigh that against the best available, and they're going to do it. And they gave the whole process where it's a process. So I don't even know if really Minnesota knows exactly where they're going to go with this. I think they're going to weigh out a lot of things. And I think come Wednesday. We're going to find out exactly what they're doing. Big Shaw, let me ask you a question. I want to come back to you for a minute, and I want to ask you this. Now, because I know you had said you think they'll take LaMelo, Minnesota would. And let me ask you this. And as we talked about in pregame, they have D'Angelo Russell right now as their point guard. So if they draft Melo, what do they do with D'Angelo?
He going to be on that boat out of there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's going to Minnesota. I'm telling you, that's where he's going.
So no, and that's fine. I'm not doubting it. But then does that mean then, or could we see some where they take D'Angelo Russell, throw him to the Wolves, and say, okay, who's got draft picks? We're looking for some more draft picks in this draft. Could they try to trade him, during the draft to get draft picks?
Oh yeah, somebody will get him. He's a good player.
Yeah, that's my point. So we could, it could be possible that we could have multiple number ones for Minnesota in this draft if they decide to trade D'Angelo because they're taking. I think it's going to be a great draft, gentlemen.
I'm ready for it.
I think this is going to be a really good experience, and I'm ready for it too.
This is going to be interesting too, man.
Now, don't be surprised if I'm gonna say it, and I don't care what people think about it. Don't be surprised if one of them guys in the top 5 draft, top 10 be a bust. Don't be surprised.
Oh yeah, because outside of
Ball could be one of the busts.
Outside of like the top 5, like you said, or outside of like the top 3, there are a lot of kind of shaky guys that a lot of people were kind of on the fence about. Now, something that is cool, I did see earlier that there were about, I think, 7 Nigerian-born players that are up for grabs in this draft that could potentially be picked in the first round. So that's pretty interesting now. And I think it's really neat that we're seeing a lot of more international players getting selected more and more each year. And a lot of them are starting to become better draft picks, because we've seen in the past that a lot of them just did not pan out. But we're seeing now with guys like Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis and all those kind of guys along those lines who've been drafted pretty recently, who've been balling out. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys fare, because they have a lot of potential, but you never know with the NBA. It's one of the most hit-and-miss leagues in terms of draft picks.
Yeah, I totally agree. Before we take out of here, first of all, I want to say congrats to Joel Stanley. Hey, I appreciate, you congratulating us on the new show.
Thank you, Joel. Hey,
I know I'm looking pretty good. I know Logan's looking pretty good. Big Shaw, he's a little rough, but we're working on him. He's a work in progress. But no, hey, thank you, Joel. I appreciate you giving us those sentiments, and we're gonna do our best to continue to provide good coverage.
That's
With
right.
that being said, hey, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode it's been the first episode.
We did it.
Number 1.
Pop the streamers. We did it, boys.
Hey, this is number 1. It's the first episode of Unscripted.
Right.
Hey.
And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we're pretty much absolutely that.
Yeah.
Undamn scripted. And I like it that way. And I hope you all like it that way. And I hope you appreciate the vibe and the energy and the topics we're putting out. And come back to see us again on Thursday, followed by Saturday. And until again, hey, Logan, Shaw, Big Shaw, y'all got anything y'all want to say to the peoples?
Well, man, I can't say that guy's name. We got coming on Thursday for the Oakland Athletics. I can't say his last name. I don't want to butcher it. But
hey, we might leave that as a surprise. Y'all be sure to check out the Facebook page. We'll be posting. We'll be having a post either tonight or tomorrow. Doing a preview of who we got coming on the show Saturday. I will give a little teaser right now for the fans who have stuck around this long for the almost hour-long show. I promise we ain't going to go this long next time. We had to get a lot of topics out this time, man. But I will give out a hint. He is working with the Oakland Athletics and the MLB, and he is a radio play-by-play announcer. So I'm going to let y'all figure out who that is in the comments and all like that. But, hey, we're on our second show. We already got a pretty high-profile guest. So, hey, I'm ready for it.
All right. That's it, ladies. Oh, don't forget Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook. If you missed this show, always go on Facebook. Unscripted on Facebook. Come find us.
Right.
Let's do it.
Till next time, we out of here.
We out.